Hey there guys, what's going on? We're back again today with some of the best class setups in Modern Warfare that absolutely nobody uses. I know what you're thinking, somebody out there probably has used one of these classes at one point in time. Nope. Nobody on the planet has ever used any of these classes before, but if you have, you do have to drop a like on this video. We're currently looking for 26 likes on this one for some of the best class setups in Modern Warfare. Now, we've made a video very similar to this before, but some people actually started using some of the weapons that are on that list, like the Uzi is actually busted now, so we need a new list here. We're featuring 3 of my favorite class setups that don't get any respect. They're always overlooked by pretty much everyone because guns like the M4, the MP5, and of now the Uzi do exist, which is a bit of a shame because there are some super powerful off-meta weapons in the game right now. Anyway, we are currently working towards 2,300 subscribers right now, so make sure you do hit that subscribe button with those notifications turned on so you don't miss out on any more of the upcoming content. Right, let's jump straight into our first class setup here. Our perks and grenade choices are going to be the same across the board here, so we're only going to mention it once. We've got a very basic setup of EOD, Ghost, and Tracker while taking the C4 in the lethal slot and the Stim Shot in the tactical slot. Very, very simple options here, but very, very effective. Alrighty, the first weapon that I think basically gets no respect in this game is the Bruen MK9. This LMG was added as a mid-season weapon in Season 3, and I've always really enjoyed using it. You get LMG levels of damage range, recoil control, and accuracy while having fantastic mobility when you do have the right attachment set up. With the 60 round mags, you basically turn this already powerful LMG into a slightly slower than usual assault rifle. The Bruen MK9 does share a damage profile with the PKM, which is another very powerful LMG, which was one of the weapons that suffered a little bit due to the no-stock nerf. Anyway, as for our attachments here on the Bruen MK9, we're looking for the Bruen 18-inch para barrel. Starting us off here with that aim down sight speed and movement speed, you'll notice a trend here with a lot of these attachments. They are basically designed all around aiming down sight a little bit faster. This is a super strong option here, as I said, to get those sights up nice and quickly and allowing us to move around the map and be quite aggressive with this particular weapon. This weapon deals great damage and does get a 3-shot at most ranges. So we can use this barrel to be able to move around the map quickly and still get those 3-shot kills. We also want to include the tac laser here for that aim down sight speed, as well as the bonuses to our weapon sway, including that aiming stability and aim walking steadiness. Again, this is just another attachment that does help us get our sights up nice and quickly. I feel like even after the no stock nerfs, we can still get away with running the no stock in the stock slot here for that movement speed and aim down sight speed. The nerfs were as follows, with the recoil control on this weapon getting nerfed, or this attachment rather getting nerfed significantly. Like, the recoil control is way worse on some weapons now, so I feel like we can get away with this for the huge boost to our movement speed and aim down sight speed, which is really important for making this a more mobile weapon. As I said, we do lose a little bit of that recoil control, so the barrel and this do combine to make us a little bit less accurate, and if you're worried about that, you can include the FSS close quarter stock instead. We're also taking the stippled grip tape here just for that aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed. Again, you know why we use the stippled grip tape. It is fantastic on this weapon and most weapons in this game. And lastly, the real star of the show here with this 60 round mags, we're taking this because it is very, very powerful. One of the best attachments in this game for all of the stats that it gives. We get aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed, movement speed, a detachable magazine, and 60 rounds to fire, as well as a reload speed of about 1.8 seconds. This is the attachment that makes the weapon viable. Moving around the map and being aggressive is a real option here, and it's definitely a weapon that's a little bit different. Probably not used by too many people while still being powerful and fun to use at the same time. Definitely give the Bruen MK9 a chance if you haven't already. It's definitely something different. I wanted to include an honorable mention on our list here, and we're looking at one of the best sidearm options at the moment. The Akimbo M19 isn't underused necessarily, but I don't see it too often despite it being a fantastic option that I recommend quite often. You rarely see people running around with this as their primer, which I feel like is way more effective than it has any right to be. Basically, you just sprint around everywhere and spam Akimbo pistols until the end of time. Anyway, we did take a full look at this weapon recently, so we'll run over this quite quickly, but as for our attachments here, we're looking at the monolithic suppressor to increase that damage range and give us that sound suppression. I have heard that this does make our hipfire accuracy a little bit worse, but I feel like it's definitely worth it to increase that damage range. We're also taking the XRK Super Barrel here for that damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control. Again, really only for the damage range, making it a little bit easier to hit our shots. If you are running this as a secondary, take the 5mm laser, or if you're running this as your primary option, just take the 1mm option for that hipfire accuracy. The difference basically is, if you're using this as your secondary on like a different class setup, the 5mm lasers aren't going to be too relevant, whereas if you are only running around with this weapon, basically the 5mm lasers can give away your position, so the 1mm lasers might be a better option option. We also want the lightweight trigger here just for that rate of fire increase. This gives us the maximum rate of fire, very, very powerful here. As well, rounding this off with the Akimbo perk. Basically giving us 2 weapons to hold is very, very powerful. It's a pretty simple secondary class here for one of the most powerful Akimbo pistol setups at the moment, and would be a perfect partner for any weapon on this list. Moving back to our underused primaries here, we have got the VLK Rogue. This is legitimately one of the best weapons in the game. Like, as far as shotguns go, I still see people using the 725. It just makes me so sad because they're missing out on one of the most fun weapons in this year's Call of Duty. This previously was an absolutely dumpster tier weapon, one of the worst for sure, but over time we've seen this become a very, very powerful weapon. Able to shred through countless enemies if they do get in our 1 or 2 shot kill range, which extends out to about 25 meters or so. The Dragon's Breath rounds are the real star of the show here, very powerful and spammable shells that do incendiary damage that are a straight upgrade on the stock shells. This is definitely one of the weapons that I have the most fun with in Modern Warfare because it's just mindless fun. You can pretty much sprint around wherever you want, not really worrying about anything, and if you do see someone, just send like 3 or 4 shots at them before they can fight back. As for our attachments here, we have set it up like this. With the muzzle slot, we've got the Forged Tack Marauder for the sound suppression damage range and a tighter pellet spread. This is a really important attachment for our one-shot kill range, allows us to get kills from slightly further away than we would normally. We do combine this with the 16-inch Warlord barrel, again for that damage range and that tighter pellet spread. We could also take the VLK SAR here for a slightly further damage range and a little bit tighter of a pellet spread, but this does decrease our movement speed by about 4%, which really is not worth it at all. We of course want the 5mW laser here for that hipfire accuracy and sprint to fire speed, being able to make our hipfire nice and accurate while sprinting around very, very easily, getting those sights up and so on is very, very powerful for most shotguns. Definitely do need this over the 1mW laser. We want the no stock, of course. That recoil nerf that did hit this attachment doesn't really apply to shotguns because we don't really care about recoil too much. This just allows us to move around very quickly and get those sights up where we have to. And lastly, we're taking the Dragon's Breath rounds, which, as I said, they do offer that incendiary damage while slightly reducing our damage range, but you don't really notice as people still take damage over time once you do hit them. So the damage range isn't too relevant here. And as I said as well, this is a straight upgrade over the stock shells. This shotgun is very, very easy to use, spammable, and has great range. You can do some serious work with this thing, and it's probably a bit fortunate that more people don't use this because it is busted. Such a fantastic weapon, and I rate this more highly than the 725. It's just way more fun, way more shots, and you're not punished for missing. A fantastic weapon that gets constantly overlooked. Do try this out right now. It's very, very fun and definitely worth your time. And lastly, we've got something a little bit different here. In the Season 4 mid-season update, we received a new sniper in the Rytec AMR. And I know, even the game wants you to quickscope, but not everyone has the skill or just the ability at all to pull it off, me included. I can do it sometimes, but not all the time. I miss way too many shots. I much prefer a different strategy when sniping, and that is standing as far back as possible and never ever moving. Finding a great spot to camp and just waiting for people to walk into my crosshairs. Now, as I was testing the Rytec AMR for the class setups that I was making previously, I came across an attachment that I didn't include. That is the XRK tank brake, and this makes this thing pretty much have no recoil at all. You can basically fire shot after shot down range in pretty much the exact same spot, and it's perfect for the way I play. Now, I know it's against the law to reduce your aim down sight speed on a sniper, but man, I'll admit it, I suck at sniping, so it sometimes takes me a little while. So, as for our attachments here, as I said, we are taking the XRK tank brake for that recoil stabilization. This makes us very, very accurate and just helps us hit the second shot if we do need to. Or it makes it very, very easy to hit that second target as well. But we're still going for a lot of aim down sight speed here as well. So we got the tack laser as well for that aim down sight speed, and reducing our idle sway while we are aim down sight is very, very important here. We're also taking the Stovel tack wrap in the stock slot for that aim down sight speed. Again, very, very simple here. Get those sights up nice and quickly. Stipple grip tape as well, aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed, very, very powerful. And lastly, the focus perk, basically making us flinch resistant if we do get shot while we are aim down sight scoped in. Our aim doesn't go straight to the moon. Makes it very, very easy to hit a follow-up shot. Basically, you can sit wherever you want as long as it's not near the action and just pick people off like a regular sniper would. It's probably even a great class for Warzone, but we don't talk about that filthy game here. I know, I should probably work on my sniping and my quickscoping, but actually getting kills with this is more satisfying than anything. When I was recording the original class setups that I made for this is the class that I actually got the most kills with, even out of all the quickscoping classes that were designed a little bit better around that kind of style. I still did better with this, so that's how it goes, unfortunately. If you are a quickscoping god though and you don't like the decreased aim down sight speed from the XRK tank brake, you should include the aim down sight speed barrel. So we take that off and we include the FTAC 448 dictator barrel for that aim down sight speed and movement speed. This makes it very, very easy to sort of sprint around the map and quickscope people very easily. You get those sights up nice and quickly and you hit that shot pretty much every time. Very, very powerful, of course. Alternatively, you drop the tank brake again and pick up the explosive rounds because these are an absolute riot. Loads of fun to play with. It does reduce your bullet velocity, so when you do include the actual barrel that we just spoke about and this attachment, it basically makes our bullets fire very, very slowly and a little bit harder to hit those shots. So if you are looking for a good time, take the explosive rounds as well. Now, this is an absolute blast to play with, and we might take another look at the Rytec AMR to see exact aim down, sight speed, breakpoints, and better understand these attachments a little bit better. Anyway, guys, that has been 3 more of the best class setups in Modern Warfare that basically nobody uses. These classes are all excellent fun, and you should definitely find some uses for them, like fantastic uses for all of these classes, as they're very, very fun, a little bit different, and slightly off meta than you would consider normally. They all perform a little bit differently, as I said, and you can adjust these attachments on what you do prefer. Like, if you prefer to play a little bit slower with the LMGs, you take off some of the aim down sight speed attachments and make us more accurate at range. That sort of lets you use them at longer distances, including Warzone. If you did enjoy this one and it did help you out at all and it did show you off a new way to play this game, make sure you do leave a like on this one. We're still looking for those 26 likes for some of the best class setups in Modern Warfare. Make sure you do hit that subscribe button with these notifications turned on so you don't miss out on any more of the videos that we've got coming up, and do help get us to 2,300 subscribers. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!